A general thing.
Yes.
With the nice icons behind us. So we have here with me,
Gabriel Demetrios.
Yep. Otherwise, you might know him as
Righteous Sprints or Ryan.
Yep. Either of those two. And at the moment, he's talking with a very blocked out nose because
I have hay fever.
I have hay fever. It's funny, when we were in the other chapel earlier on, no hay fever at all. Came straight out, and straight away he started talking like an elephant with a blocked nose. So Gabriel, why have you chosen the name Gabriel as your particular patron, and which one is it?
Saint Gabriel of Georgia. Well, on my path to Orthodoxy, one of the first saints I learned about it went Saint Spiridon, Saint Paisios, Saint Gabriel, and I watched the Trosagion film of Saint Gabriel, and I kind of just fell in love with the saint. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know, saw myself in him maybe, but not that I'm a saint, of course. But
I was just going to say, mine. Should I come and kiss your feet now?
But yeah, and Saint Gabriel kind of just about a year later I was received, 10 months, and
how long ago was that? When were you received?
I was received April 12th, I think. Yeah, Lazarus Saturday. Yeah. Don't quote me on the date, but yeah, okay. You could hear Ollie panting really loud.
Ollie's panting really loudly here. Yeah. He's jealous because I'm talking to Gabriel and not to him. Ollie, you're not named after a saint.
You don't deserve it, Ollie.
Okay, so and how things been since? It's very shaky. Look at my hand.
Since being received, the path to Orthodoxy has been beautiful. It's been very humbling, and of course it's very hard. It requires a lot of yourself, but at the same time it doesn't. If that makes sense.
Well, not entirely.
No.
Try and explain yourself. What do you mean?
Like, I found myself to be really fighting myself, but at the same time, it's also a process of giving yourself to Christ almost.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
And in a way, it's just the best way to describe it is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a process, isn't it?
Yes.
Things don't happen all in one go.
No. Wish it did.
Yeah, I think all of us wish it did, but that would require nothing in the way of any effort from me if I everything suddenly went right.
No.
There's a dog down here needing to learn patience. Learn patience, dog. Right, all of us need to learn patience as well. So what else can you tell us about yourself? One of the things is that he also Richie sprints because
I'm a sprinter. I sprint. I did 100 meters. Not that it's been to any avail in the past 2 years, but my personal best, if you're wondering, is 10.92.
My personal best, about that in minutes.
No, I reckon it'll be sub 15, 14 seconds.
Me?
Not far, no.
14 minutes more like, okay, go on.
That'll be a good 5K.
Yeah, it's wonderful. If you get onto his website, and I'll put a little link below, you can see.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
You can see him disappearing like the wind across the place. Anyway.
Not so much as I'd like.
Not as much as you'd like, but anyway.
No. But yeah, I have been...
He'd leave me behind in the dust, I can tell you.
I have been a national athlete by the legalistic term of it, but as of right now, I've just headed into the seniors because I'm now 20. I'm no longer under 20, and yeah, I've got a lot of improvements to make if I want to make it to the senior British champs or anything like that. But I'll try, and God willing, maybe I could hit my prime and beast it.
Yeah, that's not the dog laughing at the idea, by the way. He's still whining with his cross about it. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's certainly what I'd love to see that happen. And I think always we should do whatever we can to make the best of ourselves in that sort of way. It's interesting, lots of saints who started off as being athletes or being soldiers, or they were very physically minded. It's their physicality that brought them to Christ in many cases as well. Was St. Mamas one of those?
I'm not sure who.
Something like that, wasn't it?
I mean, I always have what St. Paul says about being athletes of God, and in the aspect of training and stuff, because it is you need a lot of discipline. 90% of the time you don't want to be there. Yeah. I'd like to think that's transferred over to the life of Christ.
Yeah. But I think also for quite a lot of us, 90% of the time we're heading off to church, we don't want to be there either.
No.
And think, oh gosh, I could be doing something much more interesting, like nothing.
Yeah. You always come out edified in some sort of way.
Yeah.
I find.
Yeah, I certainly do. Yeah, sometimes those wild horses get me to pray, but then once you do, you think, I'm glad I did. Okay, what else can you tell us? You've got about 30 seconds.
I'm starting a job at Anglian Water.
Oh, yeah,
in 2 weeks.
Job.
In my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I was a Tesco colleague for nearly 2 years.
Yeah. You see these little bright eyes looking at you if you went to Tesco's. I can see what nonsense you've been buying.
Yep. I love beef and eggs.
And eggs?
Yeah.
He eats a prodigious number of eggs every day.
Well, I have about 6 in the morning, ideally 6 large eggs, sometimes 5, but then like throughout the day, I'll try to go up to 10 in total.
Okay, so really,
eggs.
Right next to me right now is standing a complete human omelette. Okay? So that's fantastic. I didn't realise you had that many eggs in one day.
Yeah.
I know there's a video of you showing what the sort of thing you eat every day, but anyway, there we are.
Yeah.
Oi! We chorused. Be quiet, you naughty dog. He's just cross because he thinks he ought to have a 10 out of 10 video of his own. Righto, well, thank you very much indeed for that. God bless you and keep you.
God bless everybody.
Yeah.
Ciao.
that's how he ends off all of his videos, by the way. So there we go. Do it again.
Ciao.
He usually switches them off when he does that.
Yes.
Okay, right. Bye-bye. God bless you.